Welcome to the Explainer. A lot of growing businesses face this exact problem. They've got tons of data, but it's a complete mess. Today, we're going to follow a small, health-focused grocery chain as they go on a journey to turn that chaos into a real strategic asset. So here's the setup. It's a story you've probably heard before. A business is doing well, it's growing fast, right? They're scaling from just 3 stores to 10. But the problem is, their data infrastructure, well, it's not just struggling to keep up, it's actually starting to hold them back. And this right here is the heart of the problem. They call it Excel spaghetti. I love that term, because we've all been there, right? Their entire operation, we're talking sales, inventory, you name it, is tangled up in this crazy web of disconnected, messy spreadsheets. As you can imagine, trying to scale with that, it's a huge liability. So how on earth do you untangle that? Let's dive in. Okay, so their plan to fix this is basically a 4-part journey. We're going to follow along as they go from that spaghetti to a proper schema, then from data full of errors to data they can trust. From there, it's about finding the signal in all that data, and finally, turning what they learn about their shoppers into a real, actionable business strategy. This whole process follows a really logical path. It's kind of like building a house, right? You absolutely have to have a solid foundation before you can even think about putting up the walls. So first comes the data structure, then you have to make sure you can trust it. Only then can you start pulling out real insights and actually make an impact on the business. So first things first, challenge number 1 is all about tackling that spaghetti. The mission here is pretty clear. Create order out of the chaos and build a clean, solid relational foundation for all their data to live in. And believe me, the chaos is real. We're talking about things like duplicated headers, numbers getting mixed in with text, dates formatted in a dozen different ways. Oh, and my favorite, product categories that magically change names from one spreadsheet to the next. Trying to do any kind of reliable analysis with that? No way. Not if you want to scale. So, the mission is clear. Create a single source of truth. The team starts by literally reverse engineering a logical model from that spreadsheet mess. Then they normalize it, which is just a fancy way of saying they organize it to get rid of all the duplicated info. Finally, they build out this clean new system in a proper database and set up an automated pipeline to load all the data in. Consistency is key. And here it is, the beautiful after picture. What was once just a total mess of disconnected files is now a set of clean, structured tables that all talk to each other. You can see exactly how stores, products, and sales transactions are all logically connected. It's night and day. Okay, let's move on to challenge 2, from errors to integrity. Because look, just having a database, that's not enough. The data that's inside it has to be trustworthy. It has to be accurate. You have to be able to rely on it. At this stage, the team basically had to become data detectives. They went on a hunt to find and fix all these sneaky hidden problems. I mean, just imagine a unit mix-up where your data says you sold 10 cases of something, but it was actually 10 individual items. An error like that could completely wreck your inventory forecast. So they fixed all these issues with solid, documented solutions to make sure it never happened again. You know what I love about this is it boils down the entire goal of this stage into just 3 simple words. This isn't just about cleaning data for the sake of it. It's about building a data set that the whole business can look at and say, okay, we can rely on this. We can make decisions with this. Now, with that foundation of clean, trusted data, the team can finally get to the fun part. Challenge 3, finding the signal in all that noise. Now they can start asking much bigger questions and hunting for those valuable predictive patterns. The goal here is to get way beyond just reporting what happened yesterday. They want to understand why it happened. What are the real drivers of sales? So they start digging into years of historical data, and they even pull in external stuff like holiday schedules and weather patterns to find the answers. And what do you know? They find some really clear signals. For the very first time, they can put an exact number on the sales lift they get from specific holidays. This isn't a gut feeling anymore, it's a hard number. And that is absolutely crucial for planning everything from staffing to inventory. Having this clean data also unlocks way more advanced forecasting. They can now move beyond traditional statistical models, which are fine for simple trends, and start using powerful machine learning approaches. These ML models can learn really complex relationships, like how weather and a holiday and a promotion might all interact at the same time. That means way more accurate predictions. And that brings us to the final challenge, And this is really where the rubber meets the road. This is where data science starts to directly shape business strategy by focusing on their most valuable asset, their customers. So the business already had a hunch. They knew that about 40% of their customers were in their loyalty program. But the million-dollar question was, so what? What does that actually mean for the bottom line? How much is a loyalty member really worth? Well, the data gave them a crystal clear answer. And the first insight is a big one. Loyalty members spend significantly more money every single time they shop. We're not talking a small difference here. It's a huge boost to revenue with every single transaction. And it's not just that they're buying fancier stuff. They're also literally buying more stuff. On average, their loyalty members are putting way more products into their basket each and every visit. And the final piece of the puzzle, they come back more often. So when you put all three of these things together, spending more, buying more, and visiting more, it paints this undeniable picture of just how incredibly valuable a loyalty member is to their business. But again, this isn't just about finding cool insights. It's about putting them into action. The ultimate goal here is to use all this data to build a practical tool, an ROI simulator. This will let them game out the financial impact of different promotions before they launch them, basically creating a playbook for driving profit. All right, let's just zoom out for a second and recap this whole transformation. They went from a tangled mess of spreadsheets to a strategic tool that actually drives the business forward. It's pretty incredible. You can see this clear, logical progression. It all starts with the foundational data engineering work to build that solid structure. Then it moves to statistical methods to make sure the data is clean and trustworthy. From there, it's on to machine learning to find predictive insights. And it all culminates in using causal inference to understand not just what's happening, but why it's happening, so they can confidently predict the return on their strategic decisions. This whole story is such a powerful roadmap. I think the key thing to take away here is that turning data into real business impact isn't some kind of magic. It's a structured step-by-step process. So I guess the question to leave you with is, where is your organization on this journey?